Hello everyone! I am finally back and it is nice to be back with all of you. And I thought I would film some of today's lecture from outside. I hope that you can see and hear me all right. We'll do this as much as I can today. So, we are going to be going over chapter 10 on spirituality. And before we get started, just taking a quick look at our syllabus and what we still have left in this semester, because we are getting closer toward the end of the semester now. It's kind of hard to believe that we're at the end of April and only have this chapter, chapter 10, this week, as well as our quiz 5 this week, which will be due on Friday at 9 p.m. Next week is our last chapter. It'll be chapter 11, and we'll have our last quiz due next Friday. And then the last day of class, which is Monday, is just kind of an online final exam review, which is more or less just I will post things under our online review tab and take any questions that you have, especially on the discussion board. And speaking of the discussion board, if you're having any trouble finding it, you can go onto Blackboard, click on the tab that says Tools. This is one of the built-in features of Blackboard. So it's not a tab that gets created by me, but one that's pre-built on Blackboard with lots of options inside of it. They're all alphabetically ordered, and one of the options inside of the Tools tab is for the discussion board. So go ahead and click inside the discussion board and make sure that you leave at least one good quality paragraph long comment in one of the chapters, and that will count as the rest of your in-class participation grade. That's worth 5 points, and it's just due by Monday, May 4th, by the end of the day. So make sure that you get that done. Also on May 4th will be the final papers due date, though as always, let me know if you are struggling in any way, if you need an extension or anything like that. And then if you need me to look at any section of your paper, you can either email me or you can submit sections such as your intro, rough draft, or a section anytime by the end of April for me to look at. Last, our final exam is between May 8th and 10th. You can take it anytime between then, so long as you've taken it by 9 p.m. on May 10th. So you've got several days to take it there. So that is a look ahead at our syllabus. Anyway, let's look at this chapter 10 on spirituality. So our textbook opens up by mentioning that humans naturally have some type of spiritual essence that we like to connect to, whether that is a religion or, forming these strong belief systems. It's something that's very innately human. And it's something that we've been doing as humans for thousands of years. So one of the first things that we created, even before pottery, before lots of stone and metal tools that we think of today as being integral to humans, was humans created structures of religious significance or spiritual significance. An example of this is the Göbekli Tepe near Urfa, Turkey. This is a huge Neolithic age structure, so this is before even the time of pottery, and it was about 11,000 years old, if not older, and was recently added to the UNESCO World Heritage List only about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it's considered the oldest temple in the world. So it's the earliest place that we know of where people were worshiping. It predates metal tools. It predates by many thousands of years. It's much more famous cousin of Stonehenge. It's also much larger. So this was, a very symbolic place. And though we don't know exactly what people were doing there, we know that abstract and symbolic beliefs were practiced there that didn't have to do with survival. So this wasn't, a place that helped provide these pressing needs for human survival, but was fulfilling some other intention. And so one of the things that we question today within psychology, archaeology, and anthropology is what motivated prehistoric people to, put so much labor and time into structures like this. And that's something that we're going to try to discuss throughout this chapter. So when we move on to our fourth slide, we think about how we use symbols so much with spirituality and religion. I just have a few different examples of different religious symbols here, some of which you will hopefully recognize, some you may not recognize. But religion's been around for a very long time. It's tied to symbolic thought and reasoning. It's tied to our working memory skills, and it's something uniquely human that comes from our modern mentality. A lot of scholars have proposed that religion has been around for basically as long as humans have. And our chapter proposes that spirituality is basically dated to the Upper Paleolithic age, and that it's basically an inevitable outcome of our modern mental ensemble. And that we're really kind of the only people who seem, or creatures really, who seem to show this ability for symbolic thought, and thus for using that symbolic thought to create spirituality and religions based off of that. And thinking about not just our purpose for living and creating a purpose within life, but even thinking about what could happen before and after life. So when we pick up, we're going to be on slide 5 and go, well, actually, you know what? Let's just hit slide 5 now. That way we're at a nice stopping point. Okay, so just a little touch. We've got William James here. And just think for a moment about how spirituality does delve into all parts of the mental ensemble. So if you can think of our first 5 chapters, spirituality needs all 5 of those. So, theological inquiry emerges from being able to use symbolic thought and language. We need working memory to be able to reflect on different ideas. We need that social intelligence because we need to be able to not only find common ground with others, but create those social groups to understand a relationship with one another within that belief system. Mental time travel allows us to understand our place within a religion and spirituality as a whole, and also allows us to anticipate our own demise and what that means, if it has a meaning, whether there is existence or non-existence later on. And then last, we need the interpreter, which looks for causes and explanations to try to understand reality and reason. So William James made some arguments that kind of laid down a variety of religious experiences and how they work. So he believed that all varieties of expression of human spirituality reflects different facets of human psychology. And that this is going to happen no matter what. That if humans are here, that we will start to develop some type of spiritual system. And that we use these spiritual systems or religions to kind of grapple with our different problems in life. And also just the mystery of the fact that we exist. And then we as humans are often trying to find answers to different questions in life, whether it's to find meaning or purpose, and that spirituality and religion fills this void when other things like maybe science doesn't answer all of our questions. So it can help answer things like the purpose of the universe and, what is our role as tiny little humans in this massive thing. And then, he also mentioned that the human mind is designed to ask these kind of questions. There's a kitty crying at the door. She wants out on the deck. All right, I think it's time to let this little girl on the deck and to end the video here. So I will come back later and we will start the next section then. Bye. I'm coming, baby cat.